Newswatch 18, learn about the GSB election spending.
And hear about Iowa State University's Colleges Against Cancer, spread cancer awareness, and how to get involved.
And I'll fill you in on Iowa State's fast-paced sports of college hoops.
We got snow chances again in our forecast. Stay tuned. You're watching Newswatch 18.
Good. Good evening and welcome to the February 2nd edition of Newswatch 18. I'm Mary Kahn.
And I'm Samantha Dubois. Thanks for joining us.
With the government of the student body elections happening March 3rd and 4th, GSB President Hillary Kletscher vetoed a bill to not put a cap on election spending. The current spending cap is $1,250. Kletscher argues that a spending cap is necessary so that candidates cannot spend outrageous amounts of money to buy votes.
Colleges Against Cancer spreading cancer awareness by hosting an on-campus rally week starting February 1st through the 7th. You can register for free at the group's largest event, Relay for Life. Relay for Life takes place on March 6th, starting at 7 p.m. and lasts 12 hours.
Well, we've always heard that men are from Mars and women are from Venus, but it turns out we may have more in common than you think. Psychology professor Zlatan Krizan studied the combined results of many studies on gender differences and found 80% overlap for more than 75% of psychological characteristics. Krizan says these statistics were true regardless of whether we looked at cognitive domains such as intelligence and personality traits. The reason we think we are so different is that we are trained to see the extremes and the small differences.
The University of Iowa is coming to Des Moines. Iowa reached an agreement with the AIB Colleges of Business to take over all AIB's land and buildings. In return, AIB will become the University of Iowa's Des Moines campus. Alex Yassa, an Iowa State student, wants to know what will happen to Iowa State and the University of Northern Iowa's portion of state funds. Yassa wants to make sure that University of Iowa is not deliberately attempting to undercut the other state schools or any other school funding.
So Taylor, how are the men and women's basketball teams looking?
Oh, they're looking pretty good this year. We've got a game in action right now at the halftime break. I'll be back with more news on all kinds of sports after the break on Newswatch 18. Glendale, Arizona played host to Super Bowl 49 yesterday as Seattle and New England were set for one for the ages. After a scoreless first quarter, the second quarter was much more entertaining with 4 touchdowns, 2 from each team. The Seahawks came out huge in the third quarter with big plays from wide receiver Chris Matthews, pushing them up by 10 at the end of the third. Tom Brady led his team back from the largest deficit he had ever seen in a Super Bowl and put the Patriots up by 4 with 2 minutes left. Seattle responded on the following drive with one of the wildest catches in NFL history by Kearse, putting them in the red zone with under 1 minute remaining. But a crucial pass play at the 1-yard line gave Malcolm Butler the play of his career, an interception to seal the win. Final score 28-24, New England. The Iowa State's men's basketball team improved their national rankings last week with wins against Texas and TCU at home, improving their overall AP ranking to 11th in the nation. Bryce DeJean-Jones was also awarded the Big 12 Newcomer of the Week award for the 3rd time this year. He and the rest of the team traveled to Lawrence, Kansas yesterday and will face off against the number 8 Big 12 leading Kansas Jayhawks in a greatly awaited rematch of Big 12 frontrunners in search of a title. The game is currently on ESPN. The gymnastics team traveled to Fort Worth, Texas on Saturday to compete in the Metroplex Challenge, which faced the Cyclones against some of the best competition in the nation. Oklahoma, LSU, and Arkansas, all ranked in the top 10, participated in this meet. The Clones scored well on the uneven bars and floor exercise with a team score of 48.9 and 48.525 respectively, but struggled on the balance beam with a team score of 47.75. The ladies finished the duel in 4th place and will be back at home this weekend with matches on Friday against Oklahoma and Sunday against Centenary. And that's all I've got for Cyclone Sports on Newswatch 18. We're going to take it to Eric. Eric, how is it looking out there?
Well, you know, last week we had 50-degree weather this time. Currently across the state, we're in the low teens. Will this kind of weather continue? I'll have more in my Iowa forecast after the break. Welcome back to Newswatch 18. I'm meteorologist Eric Assmann. We are going to have some colder temperatures the next couple days, even with a chance of snow. But we have some warmer weather coming this weekend to look forward to. The snow totals over the storm we had this past week show we got around a foot. Down south in Johnston, they got just over 14 inches of snow. So it dumped a lot of snow across a lot of the state. Currently across Iowa, you can see we got 10 in Fort Dodge, 12 down in Council Bluffs, and only 4 up in Mason City. With current winds out of the south from 10 to 7 miles an hour, that's going to create wind chills that are a bit lower, with 0 here in Ames, 0 in Fort Dodge, and even -8 up in Mason City. So if you have to go out, be sure to bundle up. It's going to be a cold one out there. The clouds and radar show we had some flurries move across the state today, and then we got some clearing starting to happen in Sioux Falls area that'll be moving into Des Moines and Ames area as we move through the night. Forecast shows that clearing and then another system of snow clips the northern part of the state, dropping about 1 inch to 1.5 inches across much of northern Iowa. But then this other system will be moving across the southern portion, dropping closer to 3, even 4 inches across southern portions of Iowa. The estimated snowfall shows we got about 2 inches up in Mason City. Here in Ames, we're going to get about 1.3 inches, but down to the southwest, you can see we got 3 inches in Council Bluffs. But for tonight, 7 degrees, mostly cloudy, winds out of the south from 5 to 10 miles an hour. Tomorrow, not too bad at 22, a bit breezy with winds from 5 to 8 miles an hour. As we look at the extended forecast, you can see there's those snow chances on Tuesday and Wednesday at 20% and 40%. But then look at that, -10 low on Wednesday and only rebounding to 12 on Thursday. So we have to deal with some colder weather. But then as we move into the weekend, you can see we get a bit of a warming trend as we get up to 34 degrees on Saturday. Back to you guys.
While many Americans were tuning into the Super Bowl yesterday, others were trying to raise awareness on a very serious issue, human trafficking. Many advocates who work to raise awareness on the issue have expressed concern that Super Bowl weekend brings a boom to the sex trade. A study done by Arizona State University found an increase in online advertisements for escorts, strippers, and other sexual services around the time of the big game. It appears that traffickers use the Super Bowl as a marketing opportunity, but no studies to determine the correlation between the amount of human trafficking and the Super Bowl have been done yet. An estimated more than 300,000 youth and women are trafficked in the United States every year. To recognize the signs that indicate victims of human trafficking, look for absence of normal, and you can report tips to the Polaris Project hotline at 1-888-373-7888.
That's all for tonight's edition of Newswatch 18.
We'll see you again Thursday.
From all of us at ISU TV, have a wonderful evening.